Gonna do a completely autonomous mission. Just gonna let it ride.
0 feet altitude, 2 feet distance, 0 miles per hour, 98% battery.
It's early in the morning, so I'm taking off from right behind my house because I don't care, because no one's up. Trying to get everything set. Sun's coming up in a minute, even though it's cloudy as usual. This is going to go down Route 150 down to the plaza, the stores, and I'm back. And I will lose connection, so I'm not concerned, because I trust my technology here. I've got my GPS
295 feet
attached.
altitude, 609 feet distance, 18 miles per hour, 93% battery.
I'm just gonna let it ride. There's zero wind, and this thing is plotted to go about 34 miles an hour. It's gonna go down 150 to Route 9 and 20 and go up the street to the plaza, where the stores are, downtown Scodidiac, and come back. And I'm gonna lose signal, but I'm not really concerned about it because it's staying close to the roads. And I got my GPS on board, so I'm gonna make a video about my GPS, what I did to it to make it reliable, because it wasn't before.
294 feet altitude, 1,674 feet distance, 20 miles per hour, 90% battery.
Gonna go outside. Losing signal already. I said I was gonna lose signal, so I'm not lying. But I want to tell you what I did to my GPS is that I modified it, because the slightest thing that you did to it would break it. If you bumped it, it works. It's what it is. It's a cell phone card, and you insert it into the GPS module, and you have to go through this thing. You have to activate it. You have to send it signals through a cell phone. Blah blah blah. But the slightest thing that goes wrong with it, if you tap it or you knock it, and what happens is if you even tap it, you can break it.
Warning, disconnected.
Once it shuts off, it doesn't turn itself back on again. And that happens easily by bumping it, whatever. If you drop it, anything, any kind of shock whatsoever will kill it. So what I did to it was I modified the one I have. I took some Gorilla Glue and bent the battery terminal out a little and put some Gorilla Glue under it and put it back. And then I filled all the voids inside the box that it comes in. I took it apart with a screwdriver and filled it with electronic insulator, it's a soft epoxy type thing, silicone. And so what it does, it absorbs all the shock. And then I took my battery and I insulated it with a lot of shipping foam and stuffed it in there so it can't move.
Warning,
and then I
disconnected.
Taped it shut so it just simply cannot come loose. And I actually did something I called the drop test, where I dropped it from 10 feet. I didn't do it from a ladder, but I was close. So I held it over my head, so that would probably be about 7 feet in reality, and dropped it on the ground, and bam, it didn't shut off. And that came in really handy when I crashed my drone over 4 or 5 months ago. It flew into a tree because I miscalculated a waypoint and hit a treetop. And instead of going forward, it tried to get its way around it because the sensors were working, but it couldn't. So it kept going forward, and it finally got, kept going forward to the point where the props hit the tree and stopped, and then there goes your death cycle. It falls to the ground. That's what happened. But the good thing was that it fell, and I had
Warning, disconnected.
I had the GPS modified, so it didn't break when it hit the ground, and as well, I hold the GPS module in with a strap of Velcro that goes around the battery. So there was like a double safe thing, because as soon as the drone hits the ground, any kind of impact, the battery wants to pop out. So number one, it kept the battery in. And number two, it kept the GPS signal from breaking. The thing, the module itself. And I suspected that it crashed, and I actually posted a video about it, and it did crash. But I called it, got on my cell phone and dialed it up, and gave me the exact location. And it only really took me 20 minutes to find it. It was 2 miles away, near a creek again, off a side road.
Disconnected.
Off a side road, because I prefer to fly by side. I try to keep weird missions by roads in case something happens, because anything can happen. But they're easier to get to instead of flying through the woods. And sure enough, it worked. I got close to the point of where I knew it was, and the GPS on my phone was showing me where the thing was. And I had the app still open, and as soon as I got close enough to the drone, the remote picked up the signal. So I had 2 points of verification that, number one, GPS is telling me where it is. Number two, it was still connected to my remote. And the closer I got, I just it's out here somewhere, but it's not easy to find these things. It took a little while. It took me about 5 minutes to get to where it crashed, and about 15 minutes to look around. And it was basically just looking around until I spotted it. But the lights stayed on because the battery didn't pop out. So I saw it blinking. And then if it was darker at night, that's how come I have reflective tape stuck all over it, so you can see it with a flashlight if you're looking around in the dark. But yeah, it was a lifesaver, and it was a good lesson, and something that I'm going to share to other people, because really simply shit happens. Things out of your control. Like what I'm doing right now is extremely ill-advised. I'm flying a mission that I know it's too far away, and I'm totally relying on the technology. But beyond that, it's really easy to accidentally crash and lose a drone. So, but I do have a way of
warning, disconnected.
Of kind of like safe proofing, the GPS modules that you buy. You don't need to spend a fortune on them. You can get them for like $20 on eBay, but you just have to modify them so they don't break if they crash, because all it takes is a little bit of shock. Coming back in the house where the heat's on. It's so cold out. That's a 14-minute mission, it said. So a good 5 minutes is going to be disconnected. I figured it'd be disconnected for about 5 minutes. And the sun is rising. Here in beautiful downtown Schodack, New York. No place in the world like this place. It's nice. I love it. Living in the country. The only thing that sucks is like no McDonald's, no Burger King, no Pizza Hut, nothing. I think our only fast food places are Wendy's.
Warning, disconnected.
That's the place you get a cheeseburger for $9. And it's usually well done. Can I get a rare cheeseburger? Sure. It's like shoe leather. See, now I'm going to guesstimate that it's on the way back. And I don't know. Because I can't see the video. But I would say it's probably, an educated guess would say it just went past the town hall and is going past the I-90 interchange, I think. And I'll have signal in about 3-4 minutes back. And as I said, I knew it was going to disconnect, so I'm not really worried about it. Because I got it.
Warning, disconnected.
The path is plotted next to the roads, so. And it's cold out. Number that you get, you have to set up a service, and I think I pay $5 a month for it. And you get a phone number, and you can text to it. Text sends certain commands like what's the battery level, blah blah blah, and you can find out its exact location by calling it. So you call it and you get a message back from the carrier saying person's not available, and then in return about a minute later or less than that, you get a text map of on Google Maps of where the location is, and it works.
Warning, disconnected.
And it's really cool. I mean, I got to admit that. And it's really accurate too. It's probably, I don't know, depending on whatever controls those things. Sometimes it's within 3 or 4 feet, but I've also had it not accurate, but within 20 feet. And it's well worth it. That's all I can say about it. I'll make a video and show you guys how to actually kind of like crash proof it, I call. Because if it hits the ground and it breaks, it's done. That's why I lost my first drone, because something happened to it. It was working when it took off, but whatever happened to my drone, it must have been some kind of shock, like a crash, or it hit a tree and fell, and I didn't get a signal back.
Disconnected.
So it's up to my instincts to figure out where the hell it is, which I got a good idea, but the odds of finding it are really slim. A little drone that visually takes up a few inches of space on the ground and literally can be within a location of maybe 6 square miles. So, the odds of finding that are minuscule, but I have a good idea where it might have landed or crashed. But I haven't actually gone out there and looked.
Warning, disconnected.
Because the terrain is really bad.
Warning, aircraft battery at 22%.
So on its way home.
296 feet altitude. 1,029 feet distance. 22 miles per hour. 21% battery.
I think the low battery kicked in, and it's right there. I'm gonna let it come in. I don't see it yet. There it is.
Warning, aircraft battery at 18%.
Yeah, hit low battery. So it's gonna land now. Very cool.
Warning, aircraft battery at 15%. 124 feet altitude. 4 feet distance. 4 miles per hour. 15% battery.
Perfect.
Warning, aircraft battery at 12%.
Excellent flight. Push it to the limit. How long was that? 18 minutes. No wind. Don't ever do this when there's wind, because the outcome could be bad. But that actually returned. It was coming home anyway, but it returned home because of a lower battery. So nice flight, D-Dub out.